Hello and welcome to February. It is time for an energy update. So I have just opened the collective consciousness. So going into the Akashic Records today. So I've literally just said the prayer and we're just going to come in to this consciousness of the collective. I've just really set the intention today. I was like, can you just give me like the general themes that are going to come through for February and what we can really expect? So just give me a minute just to really connect up into the collective. So they're saying the last few weeks of January, they're saying what a ride that you have all been on, as we have seen many shifts, many deliberations from many of you as you have navigated the unsteady waters and the terrain of Earth as she continues to shift. More and more of you are holding higher frequencies of light, but have also been through periods of more purging and also periods of the void. They're saying this has been a necessary part in the collective where we are saying, like, as we go into this void period, many of us feel like our gifts have been turned off, our guidance is no longer coming in. We don't know what's up, what's down, and they're saying this is really a part of the process of surrendering and trust. As we move further into ascension, as the old paradigms start to shift and dismantle, it will be important that we keep coming back to the heart and keep surrendering and trust. This will be a big theme that plays out through February. You may feel very exhausted at this period of time or feeling a renewed sense of hope for February. Okay. So they're saying it'll be very important that we stay connected to the heart for February. They're saying this is where we will see it will be very common through February, March, April that we will see and they're saying like an attachment to the ego. The ego is in a sense holding on for dear life. It is attached to what is familiar, what we already know. As we continue to shift each day, we know that those old, what we deemed stable foundations fall away. We move further and further. So that's just showing me like we take a step, they're saying like almost just through the darkness, through space, and we have to trust each step. They're saying it's almost, you know, like you're in that very dark room. They're giving me a very visual, and it's like we have to just keep that surrender and trust of like, okay, if I just take a step forward, if I just take a step forward, the ego is going to want to retreat back. And they're saying you've moved too far beyond the third dimension to go back now. So it's almost like we're in that limbo where we're so detached kind of from a lot of the 3D programming, but we're not quite in that fifth dimensional state yet. And they're saying, you know, obviously we move up and down through those dimensional and states of consciousness on a daily basis. So you may wake up feeling very bliss, high energy, and then, you know, you get in the car and someone cuts you off and you're swearing at them, and you come, you know, that brings the vibration down, and you come kind of drop back into that very third dimensional state of being. So they're saying we will continue to see this influx of going up and down. So it will feel like you're going through the major extremes of both. But it will start to even out over the next 3 months. In particularly the end of January, they're saying was just a lot of cleanup. So as we come in, they're saying to kind of signify the Chinese New Year. So as we kind of come into that, is that when a lot of the collective will really start to propel forward. So they're saying if you have been in the void, it has been a necessary respite for you to clear out any residual stagnation from the system, to go back through almost like with a fine-tooth comb. They're saying this is why it can feel like we're going back on, oh my God, like again, I've got to go back and do more work on the inner child or more work on the nervous system. It's like we're going through with a fine-tooth comb now, and almost just like scraping these very deep core layers that they're saying most of humanity have never been through, because we've never been able to hold this much light. They're also saying like the veil has never been thinner. So as we are in kind of this level of consciousness now and still moving through, we move closer, but the veil is becoming very thinner. There'll be a lot of talk of people having more encounters with extraterrestrials. A lot more people will be connecting into the dragon energies. There'll be a lot more of this that will talking about not only in spiritual communities, but coming out more mainstream, and that people will be starting to connect to these energies in a bigger way, especially they're saying through the back end of Feb and into March and April, that we'll start to really see this. So they're saying expect for things to feel lighter through February. They're saying probably not the first week and a half, is that it will feel almost like there's a little bit of a delayed reaction. They're saying the beautiful energies of the 2-2 portal, but will help to kind of shift this reality, shift us into different frequencies and energies that will become available to us. So moving into this month, they're kind of saying homework for the month is to really stay grounded, really staying connected to the heart as much as we possibly can. When I say heart, I'm kind of meaning like the soul, the higher self, using those words interchangeably. But the more we are connected to the heart, the soul, the higher self, the more we won't feel the crashes as the ego. So they're saying this year in particular will be a big year that the collective are really having to work hard. Like they're saying, I don't want it to say that, but that's how we will understand it, is that working hard to bring the ego into check, bringing the ego into the point of surrender. So they're saying as we continue forward, the more we're in the heart center, the easier it's going to be to keep the ego tame and in check with our higher self. It will continue to have multiple freakouts because the energies are changing. It feels like, you know, when we tap into that collective energy, we can feel the shifts. We knew like that lead up to the last 2 weeks of Jan, where we had huge energies coming in. We could feel that lead up, and we have felt that for months. We knew something was building and coming in. So we will continue that through the year, but it's starting to change perspective, change direction of, we have been so used to the ego living through us, is what they're saying, and kind of being in charge for so long, because that is the world that we've lived in, you know, on a very conscious whole level. you know, it has been a third dimension, which is all about me, the ego, me as an individual. As we go forward, that breaks down, and we come about more about being of service to the planet, more about how can I help humanity, how can I be a part of this, not what am I going to get. So they're saying like the ego is going to be the main thing that we'll need working on, and it will be ongoing, because as things fall away, as it feels like, you know, you're moving more into they're saying more into higher levels of consciousness, that it will be normal that it will have these moments, because it is unfamiliar. It is, in a sense, the ego dying off, having to surrender to the soul, to the higher self. So that will be ongoing work, but they're saying you will start to feel ease. If this is something that you have been working on for quite a while, is that we will start to feel more ease with that ego. It will start to surrender. So if you're doing a lot of work with the nervous system, with really in communication with the ego of like, now hang on a minute, you're really keeping it in check, going, hang on, you're telling me this, but that's not really true. Is that you'll start to feel a lot more ease. If this is work that you haven't delved into yet, it will be something that you will need to pay a lot of attention to through this year. Okay, anything else coming up through February? We'll continue to see more and more people starting to use they're saying use their platform to speak through authenticity. More and more, so they're saying, while this is a beautiful thing as people speak up into their truth, into their authenticity, and are sharing, it also collectively creates a lot more noise out there. So it's important that we take breaks, that we take especially social media breaks, that we are setting the intentions. They're saying almost like really coming back to your boundaries. So if you have boundaries in place of like, okay, well, I will go on, I'll go on, but I'm setting a timer. Or if you use social media perhaps for your business or something, that's saying you go on and you create and you share first before you consume, and it's only in small doses. So they're saying really watch your boundaries, especially around social media. In a way, it also stops us from going internally. So they're saying everything is within you. You don't need to go and check in of like, oh, I feel off, and then, you know, you're doing a scroll going, well, I'm going to look for the information that I need. If you feel off and you feel it's collective, then it is. Just let that be enough. So they're saying you don't need to go out fishing for more information, because they're saying that's kind of how you start, but then you end up in a scroll. And they're saying that's just not necessary anymore. So it's it's really about the more discernment, but also about the protective layers and boundaries that we're putting in place with ourselves. So not so much about, yes, there's noise, yes, there's still fake light out there, yes, all those things, and yes, you know, some AI and all the things are not good. And they're saying, yes, there needs to be protection, but it's about us. It's about what we are letting in and consuming, but they're not in that way, but they're meaning through like keeping your boundaries in check. So if you've said, I'm not going on, then don't go on. Like, you've got to really honor this at the moment, because the ego is kind of fishing. It's almost like, you know, it's grasping, trying to hold on to these foundations. And, you know, all it's known is like okay, well, we go on social media every day. So they're saying it's almost like it's the ego's trying to, almost like, think of it like that entity in Parasite, like it's trying to win back and take back all this energy. You know, the ego wants to keep you there because it's all it's known, and it's trying to keep you safe. They're not, like, it is coming from a place of love. So they're saying don't see it as the ego trying to sabotage, but see it that the ego is programmed to keep doing the things it's always done. The real work and the real gratification comes is when you break that, and keeping the promises to yourself is going to be a big part of that. And letting go of the distractions and really going internal, that everything you need, you already possess, it's already inside of you. So that will continue as well. They're saying this will be ongoing work for this year, but that's kind of the real main themes. Will we see any huge energy influxes over February? They're saying that we'll see several high energy days, but they're saying that you're starting to really be able to take this in your stride. They're definitely not affecting us like they did with the ascension symptoms. We've also, like, 2023 was really about the year of purging out so much. So for many of us, we've done a lot of that. Yes, there will be deeper layers, but you'll find, they're kind of saying, like, you'll find that things are kind of stretched out a lot further. So what maybe you felt like once a week or every 2 weeks that you were feeling the energy, they're saying it's kind of being stretched out, and you'll have a longer time in between, or it might be like every third or fourth influx of energy starts to is what really affects you. Not every single one, or not every single full moon or every retrograde affects you, because you've been doing this long enough. Your body is used to it, and it's been getting these cellular and DNA upgrades for some time now. So they're saying it's going to span out longer, the time in between, where you're like, oh, I can breathe, I can, like, live, I can do all the things, and it's not going to be so intense for a lot of, they're saying a lot of us who have been doing this work for a little while now. The other thing they want to just bring through, and they're just showing me a lot of light. So they're saying just about, it's really connecting in, okay, so the thing they're saying is they understand how consuming this can feel right now. And because we've also been doing a lot of healing work over the last few years, they're saying, you know, like they understand it's almost been like a full-time job, like, and it's been in the trenches, just like wading through. And they're saying, you know, for those that took a very accelerated awakening path, that it has been this very accelerated wading through everything, moving and transmuting these energies and stagnation. But it is also time to remember to kind of take an outer perspective of, like, yes, we can get caught up in, like, oh my goodness, you know, all this time is going by and nothing's happening, and the rest of the collective isn't awake, and the truths aren't coming out, and this isn't happening, and this isn't happening. And it may feel like on the outside we're stagnant, or we're in a void, or we're stuck, and the things that we thought would have been revealed and done and moved through collectively haven't happened. They're saying, just remember the iceberg. So much is happening underneath that we do not see. It's important because they're saying our vibration is going to be so important over the next 6 to 12 months, with the timelines really splitting as we move forward into kind of more two very distinct timelines is that our vibration will be everything. So that's down to what we're consuming, what we're doing through our day. So the more that we're connected into our light, bringing light into the body, connecting up to the universe, but also being very grounded, is going to help us as beings be more light. So it's going to be easier to maintain the higher timeline. And they're saying that will be very important over the coming weeks, months, and years. So it's okay. They're saying it's okay to go and have some fun and relax. Go on a holiday. Enjoy life. You've done so much work in the last few years. You've done so much to help the collective shift to where we are. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to take a step back from being on the forefront and take that break that you need. They're saying that's really important to understand when you need a break, or you need to shift your energy and do something fun, do something lighthearted. They're saying that's such an important part. Even if you have a really big mission and you're doing all of this to improve your life, to improve the collective, to improve the planet, that it's important that we also have the element of fun and joy. They're saying that's part of the ascension too. That's part of what we are moving into, is to have more of that, for that collective, the same collective integration where we are all connected and it's not so heavy. They're saying that's the thing of the past. We don't need to keep ourselves in those constraints anymore. So do more things that create fun. Dance, sing, watch a funny movie, go out with friends, go on holidays, travel, whatever it is, you know, go on a day trip to somewhere you've never been before. Have fun. They're saying that's a missing element for many of us, because they're kind of showing me like the rabbit holes, just digging, and, you know, doing so much of this clearing work, that it's kind of time to pop up and start living, because they're saying this is going to be the best way. This is where you're going to get these final lessons and the final learnings and the final teachings on the ascension path, is through living. It's got to be that embodied practice. You've done this work now. Bring some of this into light and be that light, and allow yourself to have those breaks and to just bathe in light without doing anything else, whatever that means to you. Okay, so anything else coming through for February 2024? They're just showing me like a light switch. Don't know why. Showing me a light switch of what is that? Okay, you get to choose. You get to like they're saying, it's like you can turn the light switch on and feel the light. You get to choose. Just because the old experience have been negativity, have been lack, have been scarcity, have been fear and worry, those past experiences, they're saying it's important to remember they don't have to be your future experiences. They're just saying this is in reference to more of the ego work, because the ego will want to go back to what's familiar, what it's always known. So they're saying you can actually just be like, no, I'm turning the light on. I'm feeling that light come into my body, and to kind of, they're saying this can help be a visual of like turning on the higher self almost, and saying, no, I'm choosing to communicate with the lights on today. I don't know, that's a really funny reference, but that's what they're saying. Like, I'm choosing to work with the lights on today, or I can choose to work with the lights off, which is going to lead me into more of the ego beliefs and thoughts that I've always had. So they're saying it's kind of like a visual check-in of like, turn the light switch on, my lights are turned on for today, I'm connecting to my higher self and allowing my highest timeline, they're saying to access the highest timeline and to keep choosing that. So they're saying that is part of building the new belief systems, building the new experiences. It's like kind of taking back that personal power, your sovereignty, your free will of that you get to choose. The ego would make us believe that we don't have any choice, that the world is against us, that it's always been that way and it's always going to continue to be that way. And they're just saying that's not true. So the flick of the light kind of helps us to get in touch with the higher self, with the soul, who is actually here to guide us and lead us back to more of our wholeness. So they just wanted to end with that lovely demonstration for us. Okay, so they're saying, yeah, that's it. That's what they've got for us for this month. So I'm just going to close down the records. Thank you, Mother God, for coming to my aid. Thank you to all the beings of love and light who have assisted. Thank you, masters, teachers, and loved ones of the collective for providing love, guidance, and healing. The records are now closed. Amen. The records are now closed. Amen. The records are now closed. Amen. So my energy returning to me, your energy returning to you. I just want to say a big thank you for being here, for watching this. I hope that that has resonated and helped you with communicating with the collective guides, and will help you move through February with a bit more ease and kind of understanding of where you may need to pay some attention. If you feel drawn to, if it feels aligned and you are looking for a bit more one-on-one support, I would love to help you, whether that's through an Akashic Record reading of your own or doing more clearing work as well in the Akashic Records, or if you are in Brisbane, doing an in-person session with me. The other thing I just wanted to let you know is that Reiki and energy healing trainings are now available online as well. So I know last year we had a lot of people not in Brisbane who wanted to do training with us, and that wasn't an option because we only did in person. So level 1 and level 2 is now available online that you can do, and you do your attunement over Zoom with me. So there is a lot added into it, so it is not just traditional Reiki at all. In level 2, you're actually learning many modalities in the one training, and the same as level 3. Level 3 is not quite ready to go fully online yet. I'm still working on that. And in level 3, you'll learn the Akashic Records and light language and lots of other modalities as well. So there's a lot added to these trainings. And through the Reiki attunements that I do is that I actually channel light language while I'm doing the attunement. So it adds to the potency, and it really helps your soul gifts come on a lot quicker, so that you're working with many modalities in the one kind of container. And that's what I truly believe is that we need multiple tools for mind, body, soul, and not one modality is always going to do everything. So if that feels aligned, you can go down to the description below and you'll find all the links to our one-on-one services and the Reiki and energy healing training that I provide. So I will see you guys next month for a new energy healing, new energy report from the Akashic Records. Have a fabulous month, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.